So a question I commonly get asked is, how much did it cost you to host your Street Vault event? Hi, if you're new here, my name is Jack. I'm a former Division I pole vaulter, and now I host one of the largest Street Vault competitions in the US, right here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I spent the last 6 months planning and documenting everything it takes to bring my community together and make Street Vault happen. Which is why I'd like to share with you my 3 main sources of income and my 3 biggest expenses associated with hosting this event. Stream number 1, registration. It's the most basic principle. If you want a meet, you pay for the meet. Thing is, I was really uncomfortable with charging registration for the event. Thinking that this was a first time event and it's in North Dakota, and then people were all over the country when I was first recruiting elites. And then even the people who are like a little bit more local, it's still at least an hour drive, oftentimes 2, 3, 5 hour drive in order to get to Grand Forks, North Dakota from any nearby city. In my mind, I was just a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that people are driving out for this event and I'm still gonna charge them money for it. Also, I had no idea how much I should charge, how I should process payments, or whether or not I should reimburse my top athletes. Which is why I decided to go to one of the most critically acclaimed Street Vault competitions in the entire country to figure it all out. So I sent $155 to DC Vault in Washington, DC, and was planning a trip out to the nation's capital. Unfortunately, I did not go to DC Vault, but I registered through the website, and I actually still learned a lot of really valuable information just by going through their payment processing system. So DC Vault had a payment processing system built into their website. They actually also offered other deals along with the registration. And so like I said, I paid $155 in total, but that was actually split up into a $95 registration, a $30 late fee, and another $30 for the after party. I wanted to make a trip of it. Okay. So that's when I kind of realized, oh, I can totally bundle everything else that I want to sell for the event in with the registration. Another thing they had that was really, really awesome was a Pole Vault Championships white Under Armour bag for $60. That bag looked awesome. I will say, I would have absolutely loved to have purchased that bag. But again, even though I didn't go to DC Vault, just by going through and registering on their website, I actually learned a lot about how to do it myself. So what I did is I set up a Stripe payment processor on my Squarespace website, and I charged $77 to register for the Street Vault. That's $75 to me, $2 to the payment processor. I think that's fair, and even maybe a little bit on the low end for these big national meets that I want to emulate. So, the number you want to know. How much money did I actually make from registration? Well, thing is, remember when I said that I was really uncomfortable with charging registration? In the beginning, in April and May, when I was really recruiting my first few vaulters, I reimbursed almost everybody, almost all of the elites that I was reaching out to. I sent them their registration back on Venmo. I really wanted to get the meet started. I wanted to have people that I could post on my Instagram and say, hey, these people are coming to the meet. That's why you should sign up. And I don't regret it. I mean, it did work out quite well. I think I did a decent job of being able to promote Downtown Street Vault on Instagram. But it did come with a cost though, because although I had 57 transactions in my Stripe account, I reimbursed 27 of those. And so in total, I only made 30 times the $75 that come to me is $2,300 in registration, which it's something, but for the actual cost to run the event, it leaves something to be desired. Stream number 2, sponsorship. This is what I really want to get into. You know, it's like when you would see these big meets and they've got like really great sponsors, You see these big shoe companies, or you see UCS Spirit, and you're like, wow, this is a real, like, I actually think that the difference between just like a hobby, kind of like getting friends together to go do something, and an actual event, like a business, a real business, is whether or not you have sponsors and what sponsors you have. Okay? It's very important. Very, very, very important. And talking to people after the meet as well, when I asked them what could be improved upon, a surprising number of people actually said more sponsors. It's kind of counterintuitive. You would think that like businesses advertising at your event would be bad for your business because they're kind of coming in and they're forcing these products on people and people wouldn't like that. But it's actually the opposite. When you have a bigger business that is interested and is supporting you, people actually take that and they look at it and they think that your event is legitimate, which is why I absolutely need to get more sponsors. Huge, major goal for the next year, for the 2027 Downtown Street Vault, is to have a presenting sponsor and to have a bigger cash value amount. Because at this event, my total sponsorship package came out to be a total sum of $2,000. $2,000, I was paid exactly $14.95 from my workplace, and then another $505 is coming to me at a later date. CDIC Run proudly sponsored the event for Hoka's. We gave away a lot of free Hoka's, so it was a lot of fun, but it was not a cash deal. Almost every other sponsor of the event, I was actually paying money for their services at a discounted rate. So, 2 streams of income so far. We've got registration, $2,300, sponsorship, $2,000. We are at $4,300. Round ourselves out with merchandise. See this right here? Especially The Arc branding, Downtown Street Vault branding. I made t-shirts, I made stickers, and I attempted, somewhat half-assed my way, attempting to sell them, unfortunately. So basically, I spent kind of a lot of time and kind of a lot of back and forth, really just trying to find the right t-shirt for the event. And so I really wanted a premium t-shirt for my event. I want to produce something that people would actually wear, which is why I settled on the Bell on Canvas 3001, which is a very expensive t-shirt, I realized, because it cost me over $20 to get this t-shirt. And so when I'm selling it, obviously I can't sell under that price. It becomes a bit of, what is the purpose of the t-shirt? Is the purpose of the t-shirt to provide people with event merchandise so they can feel good about coming to the event? Or is the event t-shirt about retail sales, about making some money back that I spent on the event? In this case particularly, it was absolutely just about giving people a nice shirt to wear. I can't really say that I priced it appropriately if I was attempting to make money. So I had the t-shirt at $30. $30 t-shirt, which is still expensive, but again, it just cost me over $20 to get these t-shirts plus shipping. And so I bought 20 black t-shirts and I sold them at $30 per t-shirt. Thing is, I had some inventory problems. So I actually had 15 larges, and then between small, medium, and extra large, I only had 5 shirts. And so in hindsight, like, there were a lot of girls who were coming who actually would have bought the smalls and the mediums. I and like pretty much everybody that I knew would buy a shirt would want a large, and so that's why I went with so many large. And I just ran out of time, to be honest. As I was ordering shirts, and by the time that I found a shirt that I actually really liked and a design that I really liked, then it was kind of already at the event date. I did order more smalls and mediums. They just did not get processed before the event, and I ended up getting issued store credit for those purchases. And so next year, I would just have merchandise just figured out a month before. Like, I would have the shirts in my inventory. Everything's just stacked a month before. Okay, enough yapping. How much did I actually make from merchandise? Well, I sold 9 t-shirts on the day, and I gave the remaining 11 away for free in a t-shirt giveaway after the event. So 9 t-shirts, $30 per t-shirt, that's $270. I also sold a small number of stickers for $3 per sticker, bringing us to $302 in merchandise. But there's actually a fourth stream of income that I have not mentioned yet, and that is pole rentals. Now, my policy was basically, if you show up to the meet and you ask for a pole, you can get a pole. We'll do our best to find whatever is at the meet. But if you want to guarantee that the poles that you need are at the meet, then you can send just a $20 flat fee, and I will do whatever it takes to get you poles at Downtown Street Vault. And so this was really helpful for our men's elite vaulters who are on sticks that nobody in the area would ever be able to touch. So I had my coaches from University of Minnesota actually drive out my old Essex line of University of Minnesota poles, and we were able to get the elite men the sticks that they need. In retrospect, I definitely could have had more people sign up for the pole rental process if I were more proactive and I actually had it before registration. Even better yet, bundle it with the registration, kind of like DC Vault. But still, $140 from pole rentals, $302 from merchandise, $2,300 from registration, and $2,000 from sponsors. There was actually one more part of registration I didn't mention, is that we had a late registration increase of $10. And so there are 5 people who signed up for late registration, bringing an additional $50 to the total. So, adding up all the sources of income, we come to a grand total of $4,792. Seems like a decent number, right? Almost $5,000. Not too bad. However, my expenses were far greater than that $5,000 number, as you will see in the next video. But first, let's talk a little bit more about the income. What went well and what could be improved upon. I think that $75 was a really good price point. It was such that families are still able to sign up for the event and have it not be too heavy, but it's also priced such that it needs to be a premium experience. That's exactly what it was. We had 2 elite sessions. We had an announcer, we had music playing, and it was just an awesome vibe. And I really think that that $75 price point is right where it needs to be, and it really reflects that. Now, where I think it could be improved is I think that the late registration could definitely be increased. For me as an organizer, like, it's so useful to know exactly how many people are going to be at the event so that I'm able to order the proper number of t-shirts, so that I'm able to make the sessions as soon as possible. And so with people signing up late, I think that you can definitely increase that late fee registration to plus $30. Seems a little bit steep, but that's what DC Vault was charging. And it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. If somebody rush orders within 2 weeks of the event, I think the extra $30 is reasonable. Could also do an early bird registration rate, where if you register 2 months before the event, then you get a discounted rate, and a money back guarantee if you cancel within 2 weeks of the event. I also think that the pole rental needs to be bundled into the registration. If it's not directly in the checkout, it somehow needs to be there. I shouldn't be chasing down people trying to find out what poles they need, although I will do it, and I will, as a host, I will absolutely do my utmost to accommodate somebody, but the pole rental fee needs to be either just completely part of the registration, add just $5 to $10 to everybody's registration and say, hey, if you need poles, I will get you the poles you need. That's honestly probably the best option. Otherwise, you can include it in checkout, like I did a little bit too late, but be more proactive about it. Now that the first event is out and done, and it's awesome, I also think that I can get a lot more people to register for the event. I think I can add a whole nother section in the morning. So we started at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. is when we opened the pit for warm-ups. Thing is, we were out moving and hauling pit and runway starting at 6 a.m. and we actually got it all zipped up and buttoned up and done by 9. And so I think we can definitely add another session in the morning. Start warming up at 8:30. That's gonna light a fire under us a bit in order to actually get it done. But I think that if we can start warming up at 8:30, we can absolutely add another session in, and we can have 60 vaulters is my goal, is to have 60 vaulters in the day. Also, having 27 people reimbursed for registration. I have to be a little bit more disciplined about that. Doing $2,300 is good, but if I had 60 vaulters throughout the day and everybody paid the registration, I would have literally twice that. I'd be at $4,600 in registration alone, which, as you're going to see, is very comparable to some of my largest expenses. Next video is going to be a fun one. But moving on to source number 2, sponsorships. Like I said, number 1 goal for this year is to get a presenting cash sponsor, somebody who's able to give me enough cash to be able to cover some of these large expenses associated with running the event, and also to lend credibility to Downtown Street Vault. A lot of realty companies and a lot of really big retail companies such as Shields actually do sponsor these kinds of events on a regular basis. These are the kind of companies that I really want to talk to and be able to work something out. It's just uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable. Like I said, charging people for registration, it's almost even more uncomfortable to be asking a stranger for a large sum of money to host an event that I'd probably host anyway. Although they do get tax breaks, is the rationale behind these bigger companies kind of sponsoring these small events, is that if you do a community involvement, you get tax breaks, you get your money back in other ways, and you get advertisement and visibility. So it might not be a terrible kind of sell. I just need to meet and find the right person and be able to talk them. My goal, presenting sponsor, $5,000 cash. $5,000 cash. That would bring my sponsorship revenue up to $7,000, which would be really, really awesome. There are things that I want to go bigger on for next year, and in order to go bigger, I got to be able to pay the people who put it on. Also, merchandise. Like I said, I want to have a really nice t-shirt for the event. I recognize that it's actually might be more of a service to the people who are participating, working, or spectating than it is really a money maker for me. I want a really nice premium t-shirt, and I want to be able to lower the price and make it more accessible at the event. And that's also, it's not just price either, it's that I really missed an opportunity. I should have been on the MC announcing that we have t-shirt sales after every single session. I only did it once. I did it once at the beginning of the event. But my regret is I did not hop on that MC after every PR, after every session, and say, hey, you want to support the event? Buy a t-shirt. These t-shirts are awesome. We got a whole lot of size larges. I know you're a size large. Come buy a t-shirt. I think that a lot of people just didn't know about the t-shirt sales, and I think that I can do a lot better job advertising, especially at the event, especially on the MC. It's that my goal for me next year is to get on the MC as much as possible and be able to be a leader and a public speaker at my own event. So these were my, you could say, 4 streams of income in order to be able to make Street Vault happen. What can be improved upon is definitely advertising. Better advertising for my merchandise and better advertising for getting a presenting sponsor. I actually did a pretty good job with registrations. Kind of just, my strategy was I would do 5 reach outs a day, every day on Instagram to be able to get people from around the area to come sign up and come to my event. I think that I will continue with that strategy, perhaps add a little bit more of posting content as well in order to be able to get some organic people into my event. But I think 48 people at the event last year. I think we'll easily do 60 next year, and it'll be exciting. So if you want to see how much I actually spent on Street Vault, you can click the next video that will be on the screen right here. Thank you for watching. My name is Jack. Again, I host one of the largest Street Vault competitions in the entire United States, right here in Grand Forks, North Dakota. If you are interested in checking it out, please go to downtownstreetvault.com and we'll see you there.